how do we bring people, kilt makers, into the business, train them up to be what we want them to be? I'd start with a minor bit of history. When I started the company way back in 2003 with the wife, we didn't have formal kilt training. And we started off, on the low end of the market, making our casual kilts and low end stuff, and priced appropriately, obviously. But we kind of learned as we went along. As kilts came in from Scottish makers, we would kind of see what they were doing, how they were doing it, why they were doing it, if we adjusted a kilt for a customer. We eventually bought The Art of Kilt Making by Barb Tewksbury. Wonderful, wonderful lady. We read through that, kind of got some tips and tricks through that, but we made it our own way. In making anything, a car, a kilt, whatever you're making, there's generally more than one way to skin a cat. So we wanted to make a kilt the way that my engineering type brain wanted to make it, to kind of overbuild it and, overbuild the straps, overbuild the buckles, overbuild the buttonhole on the other side. So we kind of came at it from that angle. We don't have traditional training. We have some traditional tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, things that we've picked up and incorporated into how we make things, or did incorporate. We're pretty solid now. But back in the early days, that's how we did it, was we just kind of folded in new knowledge as we were doing it. I didn't come from a sewing background. I figured out how to sew by myself. My wife came into the business knowing how to sew, and she kind of helped me along. When we brought Mac in, he was our first full-time kilt maker aside from me and Kelly. We had one or two others before then, but nothing like Mac. And when he came in, he came to us with an understanding of garment construction. He's a reenactor. He makes all his own clothes. He sells his own clothes, or he sells clothes that he makes, not his own clothes. He came to us with that. So he just picked it up right away and has kind of become our main kilt maker now that I'm out of production for the most part. He is the production manager. He's the one that's been training people up as they come in. So he knows the way that I want things done, and he does things the same way. And as people come in, they get trained through Mac the way we want them to be trained. In the US, it's not like I can just throw an ad in the Philadelphia Inquirer and say, hey, I need kilt makers, and 50 people beat down my door from the next town over. It's not like it is a trade that is readily practiced and available for me to just hire people, but good God, I wish it was. So people come to us with to be a kilt maker with all kinds of different backgrounds. Some people come with knowledge of sewing. Other people, like Ian, one of our long-standing kilt makers, came to us never having sewn anything before. He just really loved kilts, really loved the culture, and just wanted to be a part of what we were building. So it's a weird grab bag kind of mix of employees that we have and kilt makers that we have, who have a very, very varying background on how much knowledge of sewing they have versus, if they've, I don't think any of them really made a kilt before they came to work for us. So Mac, why don't you talk about kind of the training process and how we bring them from noob off the street to full-on kilt maker 10 years down the road.
So when we finally find somebody that comes in, like Rocky said, there isn't a kilt maker factory that's bringing people in for us, although we really wish there would be one.
Well, I don't know. But it would be competition.
That's
then.
True.
So it's a good thing. It's a double-edged sword. It's good that there's not a ton of kilt makers all around for us to cherry pick from. And at the same time, we would want them to learn it our way. So that would actually potentially be a stumbling block. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, definitely. Sorry, Mac. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. So once we finally get someone in here, like Rocky said, we've had people who have had minimal to all types of experience with sewing. They've made their own garments before. So when they come in, they learn the machines. It's for a week. You just learn the machines, learn the feel of how those machines work, and then we put them onto a a particular style, whether it's usually a casual or a semi-trad, and we get them working on that and getting the repetition. And I think Rocky's used the phrase, finding the ruts in the road, getting everyone kind of in that path and staying within those guidelines to put out a product that is to our standards. So in that time frame takes about 3 months till we get someone from in the door to where we need them to be or where we want them to be, for quality, speed, for everything. So it's not just a overnight snap.
Good God, I wish it was.
It's a process.
Basically when you come in the door day one as a new kilt maker for us, what you end up doing is you make linings. You sit there and you tear out black cloth to a set width. You iron it, you serge it, and then you sew a straight line for miles. So it is tedious, boring, monotonous work until you've gotten used to the machines, you understand what you're doing, you've used all the different parts in the building. Then we say, okay, the first kilt you're gonna make is for you. If you're gonna screw this up, it's gonna be on your kilt, not a customer kilt. So we start off with them making a kilt for themselves. And they learn how to, we teach them step by step how to do the math, how to put the pleats in, yada, yada, yada. And there's a strong oversight while we're doing that. We don't trust somebody off the street just to make stuff for customers because we do not want mistakes going out in the world. So yes, Mac has a very, very watchful eye. There's an intensive training process over 3 months to basically get you up to the low bar of making kilts on a regular basis for us with less oversight than, day one, day two, week one, week two. Does that make sense, Mac?
Yeah, that sums it up really well.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good summation. It's I've always observed you guys are basically looking for attention to detail first, and a kind of you've always said a mechanical thinking mind.
Yes.
Like an engineer's mind is the best way to start. And I thought, yeah, but that's there's a certain knack that people have if they make it. I'll say that from what I've seen.
We can the mentality. One more thing I'll point out. We're always looking for kilt makers. If you want to be a kilt maker and you live near us, please, for the love of God, send us your resume. Now, the one thing, what we look for in a kilt maker is eye for detail. We can teach anybody how to sew. I can't teach people how to see details. That's either innate or it's not. So that's the thing that we're actually looking for is, can the person see the details, see the mistakes that they're making, see the things that they're doing right, and can they balance that versus can they sew? I can teach anybody to sew.
I have to admit, if somebody who's colorblind applied for the job, that might be a problem too. Sorry.
Hey, if they can do it, they can do it. But they would definitely have a more difficult time. I mean, where like Blackwatch, where you have black lines in a navy field, yeah, it's going to be more difficult for you to see it than it would for someone who can see and differentiate between black and navy. So yeah, it depends on which colors you're blind to, I guess. I'm not up on, understanding color blindness fully, but yeah, it would definitely be a challenge.
Color blindness. We have had 2 kilt makers who were colorblind.
Okay.
So we've had 2. Blackwatch is very tough for them to see, and Buchanan in PV was another one that they were having a hard time with the green line and the blue.
So you just had to figure out a way to differentiate, by the brightness or the thread count or something. I mean,
we get super high. What are the lights called, Mac? The German name for the lights?
The Uberlight.
The Uberlight. Yes, the Umlaut. The Uberlight, which is like a super focused LED light right on the fabric. So we get real nice, high quality, very, very, very bright lights to try to highlight those differences.
Cool.
I hope you guys enjoyed this little peek into our process of hiring and training new kilt makers. If you want to learn more about how we make kilts, check out this video or check out this whole playlist.